Welcome to the Tawlet El Sifra dinner table. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about um, is my trip to Iraq during the Iraq War. Um, as I mentioned to you in previous videos, I came to the U.S. and during the time I was here between '78 and 2003, I noticed that my life was getting better and better all the time because of the American life I was living. And my friends who were still in Iraq, their life was going down and down, further down. And I just couldn't understand why. Why me? Why am I chosen to live a better life? I couldn't understand it at first, and then the Iraq War happened, and I realized that if I had stayed in Iraq, then I would be the pictures and the videos I'm seeing of those women, and I just couldn't stand it. So I had to volunteer to go for many reasons. One is I wanted to help out in the efforts. Two is I can speak the language well, and I could, help the effort in Iraq. Three, I always saw it as that the America looked at people like myself who had come to this country and appreciated it, done well, been good citizens, and thought, well, the Iraqis seem to be good people. Let's go turn all of Iraq into a good country. The impression, and I think what was happening at the time, people did not like Saddam. Saddam was abuser to his own people, and there has been a lot of movements from Iraq, and different groups of Iraq had lobbied to the U.S. to get rid of Saddam. So the opportunity came, and America decided to go do that. And like I said, to me, that's what I was hearing in my head. I know this is not the political way, the correct way, or whatever. America did not go because they really wanted to give because they thought that me and all the Iraqis, immigrants, are good people, and therefore they want to go do that to all of the Iraqis. That I know that's not their mission. But it worked for me. It worked for me to understand that and say to myself, okay, well, that's a good reason in my head. I'm going to go help them. At the time, my son was 7. We had struggled to have kids. So when we had him, we still call him the miracle baby. And he was 7. And my family, my husband was pushing me to go. He was the initiator of this movement. He was the one who told me that if I can, I should go. And finding out that there was a way that I can go, he wanted me to go. He volunteered every single help he could offer just to get me to go. And so, but the rest of the family were totally against it. They could see all the bombings and the killings and everything, and they thought that as soon as I get there, that's what's going to happen. But like I said, I just felt like that's a calling. I have to go I needed to go help my friends over there, and I needed to go help America in Iraq. America gave me a very good life, and I wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to go and help them. I consider myself 2 for the price of 1. I don't need a translator. I don't need a bodyguard and the protections, because I can blend in as one of the Iraqis with the way I talk. And plus, my specialty is the underground pipes and infrastructure, and that's what was needed at the time. So I went to Iraq for that purpose in my head, and I wanted to go help out with that. Well, when I got there, I reached out to a few of my high school buddies, and they immediately were like, don't do that. Don't help us with your knowledge of engineering and your knowledge of pipeline. Do that as a secondary. We need your help for the women's issues and the constitutions. We are the new government. A lot of them have come in from a religious point of view, and they have put some resolutions in there that we are totally against, and we need that removed. Even Saddam never did that. The law of the land, the constitution of the land before Saddam, and still to some extent during Saddam, did not limit the woman from doing a lot of things, but the Sharia law was going to do that, and they wanted to put a stop to it. So we worked on that while I was there. But I also want to share with you about my experience with the American military, because when I went, the only thing I knew about military at the time, I had no idea what they did. I just thought that they hold guns and they go and kill people. They see something that needs to be killed. They see somebody that needs to be killed. They go to war and they shoot at each other. That's what I always thought. And I thought that all the militaries everywhere would do this. But when I went there, it was a reality, that very pleasant reality that I saw hugely. I mean, I was surprised to the point where I was just filled with joy to know that the Americans there and the ones that I dealt with, I was with the Americans. I was in the presidential palace. I did not go as an Iraqi. I went there as an American. I stayed inside the palace. Even the trailer I stayed in was with the military on the grounds there. So it was all, like going at it from the American side, but I could offer my help as an Iraqi person, Iraqi woman. And the first thing I saw, that these military folks were very nice and very kind and very helpful. They were helpful to the Iraqi people. They weren't just helpful to me, but they were helpful to the Iraqi people. Our office had phones in there that you can dial from there as local to the United States. So it's just like you're calling a 212 area code or whatever the number, the area code was for DC. So military folks, if they wanted to call their families, they were welcome to come and talk to them from our offices. And I was one of those people who most of the time was in the office. We worked very hard. Got to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and did not leave until 1 or 2 in the morning. Just worked very hard to make things moving. And I personally worked on whatever they gave me, whatever work they wanted me to do, whether let's talk with the politicians about the women's issue. I went and did that. Let's talk to the military about this, and I went and did that. Let's talk about the standards for the underground construction. I did that. Everything that I was asked to do by anybody there, and I knew it was going to move us forward and get things done, and I could do it. I was doing it. So it wasn't like I'm there just to do one job and that's it. I was there and I was busy the whole time. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And while I was there, of course, I had the ability to talk to my son, my husband, my family. So I did that. It's just the only thing that was limited, of course, change of time difference. But I was able to talk to them as many times as I wanted to. So I got military folks, young kids, who would come to our office and call their parents and say, hey, Mom, can you see if anybody in the neighborhood can donate some money so we can buy candy for the Iraqi kids? Can you get some money so we can buy them soccer balls? Can you get some money? So there were these kids who barely have, they're less than 20 years old, and their heart was so big that they didn't only wanted to go there and help, but they also wanted their families to raise money so they can help the Iraqi kids. There was one kid, I always call them kids because they were always kids to me. He came to the office there, and somehow he was able to find the telephone number for somebody at Nike and told them that he was a soldier and he was working in Iraq and he's calling them from Iraq and wanted Nike to donate T-shirts and shorts and boots and socks, everything for these kids so they can play soccer, soccer balls, everything. And he kept, he would come every day and he would call and he would reach a certain point and he finally got something and he got a shipment. And he was so happy that he was going to be able to share it with these kids. Apparently, his duty was to go and monitor this one area and had a lot of kids. And that's what he wanted to do. And this is what he loved doing. And he actually ended up doing it. And that's another thing that I just could not, like before that, it was like almost I had to go there and get my brain cleaned up and see reality. Before I went there, what I thought of the military, and when I got there, when I opened my eyes and saw these people, it was unbelievable. And this is just one example of this one kid. There was another one of this kid who was at the checkpoint, where when I call my friends to come and pick me up so we can do things in the city, they'll come to the checkpoint. They won't get their cars in, so I'll go stand there at the checkpoint and they'll pick me up and we'll go. And of course, we don't know exactly what time they're going to come, so I go early. And there were a couple of times when I went, there was this one young soldier who would be talking with me, something ma'am. I'll ask him questions, where did you go to school, what city you live in, and how long you've been in the military, all of that. And he always answers with a ma'am at the beginning and a ma'am at the end, and I just love that. And I just was, very polite, very nice people. And one time I went there, so this one kid who was standing there talking with me, and every few minutes he'll look on the side and address one of the boys there, Iraqi boys, who were directing traffic for cars to park in this big gravel area for Iraqi nationals who didn't want to take their cars inside the green zone, but they wanted to park there and walk through the checkpoint instead of driving, because that was going to take a long time. So he was just directing traffic, and people would pay him, tip him, maybe $1 or whatever. So he would have, $100, $200 a day, something that he and his family never saw before. Iraqis, all professions, were not making more than maybe $2 or $3 a month. And here this kid goes and just direct traffic and get $300. So it was like a huge thing for them. And so this American soldier would be talking to me, and then he'll look at the kid's name is Ali. He'll look at Ali and say, Ali, go to school. And then Ali would take his money and show him, no school, that kind of thing. And I thought it was funny, of course. But the soldier would turn to me and say, that kid doesn't understand that we're going to be here for a short while and then we're going to leave. And he thinks this money is going to be there for him for the rest of his life. But Ali needs to go to school. He quit school. His parents don't want him to go to school because he's making them a lot of money. They think that they're rich. Making $100, $200 a day is what he's making now, which is a lot more money than he ever made. And this soldier is the only one who's actually trying to get Ali to go to school. And I thought that was that's so wonderful of him, that he is pushing the kid to go to school, even though the kid and everybody around the kid, his family, all the influencers they don't care. And they think, okay, Americans are going to be here forever, and this kid is going to bring us $100 a day. That's a lot of money that we never imagined to make. So let him just keep doing this. So I always thought that was so admirable, and this soldier was so wonderful, trying to push the kid to go to school. But I also saw that wasn't going to go anywhere. Ali was going to be, he was maybe about 10. So what is that, like maybe 6th, 7th grader? 6 maybe, or less. Maybe he was 5th grader. And that's it. That was going to be the end of his life, the end of his education life. And in Iraq, I don't think that you can go back to school if you miss few years, not like here. They don't have anything outside school to teach you and you be able to test an equivalency test. At least at the time when I was there, and I'm sure when the war happened, that was the case. So anyway, I just thought that was so nice. I talked to a few people about him, about the soldier who was pushing this Iraqi kid to go to school, and things moved on. And just before I left Iraq, I also was at the gate and I saw the same soldier, and I just went to talk to him because he was polite, he was nice, and he, addressed me with ma'am, all, between every other word. So I went there and said, hey, how long do you have to stay here? Because I'm getting ready to leave, and that kind of thing. And we were just talking, chit-chatting, and then I looked and I didn't see Ali in there. And I said, hey, what happened to Ali? He said, I sent him to school. Every time I say that, it just gives me chills. I mean, I tear up just thinking about it. This has been, how many years ago? This was in 2004, and now we're 2025, so it's 21 years later, and I still feel the effect of this soldier saying to the kid, go to school, and the kid went to school, and he said, he took ownership. He told me, he said, I sent him to school. I sent him to school because nobody else was sending him to school. But he told me that he was able to go half a day and come to park cars later. Like he would go in the morning to park cars, to direct cars, and then he'll go to school and then come back before the end of the day so he can, get maybe another round of tips. But he managed to push him to where he understood that school was important, even though not him, nobody in his family, nobody thought that except this American soldier. When I left there, that kid stuck with me, and I kept thinking, one day this kid Ali is going to be holding high positions in Iraq. He's going to be the president of Iraq. He's going to be the president of a company. He's going to do something. And when people ask him, how did you spend your career? How did you spend your childhood during Saddam, after Saddam? And he's going to say, I owe all of this to this American soldier who sent me to school. I just think that that's such a wonderful thing that the soldier doesn't even realize what he did. He's so proud of himself that he sent him to school, but the world has endless possibilities for Ali, and he made it available, and he made all of that provided to him. That's what the Americans did in Iraq. When I came back after that to the United States, I kept hearing how Americans, the death toll every day. And I felt, okay, well, this is so wrong of the media. This is the worst thing that the media were doing. I am not going to let them just take the story of just death tolls and move on. That nothing they reported was wrong or lies, but I'm going to tell the real truth about Iraq, and I'm going to tell them about this soldier and many others stories that I had encountered. And I'll tell you more about those soldiers in the next few videos. Thank you, and have a great day.